literally, um, for lack of a better word, hear vibrations from
Yes,
body
that's
parts. And,
and you please,
so
yeah, we've got to take 2 minutes. I've been dying to get to this point. So 2 minutes, people. We'll be right back.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experienced Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. And we are back, Paranormal Experienced Kat Hobson, with my guest, Frank Lee, who I had to so rudely interrupt as he was getting ready to talk about vibrational sensations being heard, as it were. So, I'm
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
oh no, the FCC, they're kind of picky, they tend to frown upon not doing those station IDs and
Well, they're just a
you,
little
you know I
picky
hear
about that stuff.
right, and I hear they're not the best people to be on their bad side.
I try to never be on their bad side to the point
Right.
of editing all
The-
night long.
mhm.
So, but you were
But
talking about how some bodies listen to vibrations.
mhm.
I find this
you know the
fascinating.
they have discovered this in a lot of mammals, and they are currently doing the research to see if they can detect it in humans, which now this would explain quite a bit. And this may even link to the conversation that you and Brenda were having. Um, it could explain how the body is able to amplify such weak signals. This is just something that just ties into so many different areas. And even Nikola Tesla, one of my favorite researchers, said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And
Absolutely.
our, when you think of hearing, you think of the ears, but in the arms, the hands, particularly, feet. Now, if you notice, some of these body parts I'm naming off seem to have a correlation to a lot of the parts that are focused on in some things like in different forms of meditation, and even Reiki and different things like that. They focus on hands and feet and extremities and things like that. And the ironic thing is, they're talking about that, and now science is saying that. I'm trying to think of how to condense this and I promise I'll elaborate on it. And vibrations are processed that's translated into sound. We hear the sound difference.
Yes.
These receptors that they're finding, that they didn't have the technology to detect before, react similarly. They interpret vibrations and send that data to the brain. The brain responds accordingly. If this is in humans, which I believe it will be, then when we go to a location, say you walk in, you're in a great mood, you walk in the door to this place, and all of a sudden you feel sad, you feel depressed, or whatever, your mood changes, then are you picking up? It's kind of funny because in the metaphysical side of the house, you hear the word vibration all the time. You hear, I'm vibrating lower today. But the funny thing is now we're talking about it from a biological perspective, and it makes you wonder. In certain cases, that residual energy that we project that gets recorded into the environment, when it's triggered, is it putting off a physical response all the time that everyone can see, the camera can hear, everybody hears? Or sometimes is it just putting off a very low frequency vibration that may be too mild for a camera or an audio recorder to hear, but these receptors can pick up and interpret.
Exactly.
And that data is fed to the brain. That being the case, for humans, if this existed in humans, it would mostly be vestigial. But humans, senses, things that we don't have to have every day to survive, we tend to ignore and push to the back of our minds. But if you notice, animals are very very much the opposite of the way our minds work. We humans try to work off of logic and pattern, and we are social, whereas animals are all off of instinct with very little logic.
Yes.
And so even though it may be vestigial to us, and these animals that still have this ability functioning well enough and that thrive off of instinct, maybe, who knows, that might be the reason that we come to find out why animals react to things. And, we're kind of looking and scratching our heads.
And we're the
Maybe
ones
they're
that get
picking
eaten.
up. Mm-hmm. So, this is something that, I believe that it's going to be a couple of years before they're really able to compile enough data to make a definite statement. But, this is something this is major.
It is major. And it doesn't sound like when you come across the information, it doesn't seem like it's such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Until you start pondering it and you start getting into the what ifs and the whys. And
Mm-hmm.
you're right, it's a huge deal because that fight or flight, I think that's part of it. I think that's why you'll see a deer go still.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But they have their feet on the ground. Rodents
Mm-hmm.
and snakes and everything else, they are attached to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Not attached, but in contact with the ground. They feel what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they are able to get away in large part.
Right. Well,
Here's a
and think about
question.
this, and humans, and instinctively, when we're not sure of something, maybe we can't see it that well. What's the first thing we do? We reach out our hands and feel it.
Hmm.
Even though we're not expecting it to move or anything, we touch it. Why would we do that?
I've had a bad experience with that. So I don't so much anymore. I don't have a, it was a snake.
Oh, wow.
So I don't reach out and touch. But it was a black snake. It was down, in the ground, and I didn't see it. I just saw the motion, and I was like, "What is that?" Because I was looking for something, and it wasn't what I was looking for. But
Right.
so that's an extreme example. But as a
Hmm.
rule, yes, we do investigate.
Hmm. That, and I mean, it just, everything we've talked about tonight, all of this information, none of it has came out with the word paranormal attached to it anywhere.
Well, that's
But
because we
every
didn't
bit of
go
it is
to
out.
the other article that I wanted, which means you have to come back. But
Well,
I'm teasing.
anytime.
I'm
Um,
teasing because I wanted all of these articles. I wanted all of this information,
mhm.
and my research library just got a little thicker, so that's okay. I've had so much
That,
fun, and I've learned so
oh, me too.
much.
Yeah. And it's like I say, it, to anyone who's serious about really learning more about how this stuff works, that you're not going to find it on a paranormal site. You damn sure won't find it on a paranormal TV show. It's going to be, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Um, that,
But you will find
you
it
know,
on Paranormal Experience Radio.
that is the
So,
best source for it right there. That, but you just have to keep an open mind, and you have to learn to read between the lines. You have to. It's the best way to put it is like you were saying. You have to know how to ponder things. What are the possibilities? How does this connect? How is this relevant? And when you start to do that, and look at it, but don't get tunnel vision. Step away from it and see, okay, how does this piece of the puzzle fit into the big picture? Then it all starts coming together. And that's when that all of that we were talking about really kicks
mm-hmm.
in. And I'm going to recommend this book to anybody. If you enjoyed what we were talking about tonight, a book that will help make so much sense of all of this and just absolutely blow your mind in the process is one that we were talking about during the break earlier. The Future of the Mind by Dr. Michio Kaku. Um, he is he is a theoretical physicist who you can see a lot of his lectures on YouTube, and he's written several books that it's almost like he explains the paranormal without ever using the word paranormal. But he literally talks about things like telepathy and the mind's capabilities, and with the future, what we hope to understand about it and how it affects the environment. So many of the things we talked about tonight. Definitely pick up a copy of that book.
And he's fascinating.
Oh yeah, that I can listen to his lectures, and it's great, but I can't watch one of his lectures if I plan on getting any sleep that night, because I'm going to be up thinking,
I know, right?
doing notes and but yeah, phenomenal researcher.
Yes, he is. And presenter. So,
Hmm.
yeah, and that being said, it's time. It is
Yeah.
over, my friend.
Well, I
So,
mean, you've got to start doing a show that's longer than 10 minutes. I mean, this. Have you ever thought about doing